Understanding the Power of Habits. In the goal-setting unit, I encouraged you to progress through this course by creating detailed plans, specifying when, where, and using if-then statements to make learning automatic and habitual. In this unit, I will explain the scientific reasons and evidence behind these practices through the following sections. Habit formation. To understand the power of habits, we need to explore how the brain functions. The human brain, while astonishingly capable, prefers comfort and routines. For clarity, let's break this down into 3 key points. The habit loop. Psychologists explain that habits are formed through context-dependent repetition. Repeating an action in response to a consistent cue reinforces the mental association between the cue and the behavior. Over time, this association becomes so strong that the behavior becomes automatic, with alternative actions becoming less accessible. Simply put, whatever you do repeatedly in response to a trigger creates a link in your brain, turning it into a habit. Habits are rewarded. Habits develop because they make life easier for the brain by reducing the need to make decisions repeatedly. This process is reinforced by the release of pleasure chemicals, which create cravings that encourage sticking to the habit loop. Cue/trigger. A location, time of day, certain people, or emotional states. Routine. Watching TV, smoking, eating chocolate, biting nails. Reward. The release of pleasure chemicals in the brain that reinforce the routine. Discomfort is eliminated when discomfort arises, such as worrying about the future, career, or finances. The brain seeks escape. Comfort food, binge watching, or social outings can act as distractions that ease the discomfort. In moments of overwhelm, the brain views discomfort as a survival threat and clings to these escapes, often bypassing logic and reason. Our habits shape our lives because more than 40% of the actions we perform daily aren't conscious decisions but habits. Knowing how the brain works allows us to leverage it to form good habits rather than letting it control us. Implementation intention. Phases of habit formation. The concept of implementation intentions was introduced in 1999 by psychologist Peter Gollwitzer. While we often have the desire to engage in productive, goal-directed tasks, we fail to act on those intentions. Implementation intention provides a strategy to turn intentions into habits, making them automatic and effortless. This process unfolds in 3 phases. Initiation phase. In this phase, you choose an action, anticipate its positive outcomes, and believe you have the ability to perform the behavior. Learning phase. This involves consistently prioritizing the intended action over competing alternatives. Techniques like planning, setting reminders, self-monitoring, reviewing goals, and rewarding success help maintain focus and ensure progress. Stability phase. Once a habit has formed, it becomes stable and requires minimal effort or deliberation. At this point, the new habit overrides and replaces old, unproductive responses. Interestingly, the correlation between goal intentions and actual behavior is quite low, with goal intentions explaining only 20 to 30% of the variance in goal achievement. This is where implementation intention strategies make new, healthy habits easier to form. Implementation intention for new habits. For example, consider building a consistent exercise habit. In a 2001 study conducted in Great Britain, researchers worked with 248 participants over 2 weeks to understand what helps people stick to exercise routines. Participants were divided into 3 groups. Control group tracked their exercise habits. Motivation group tracked their habits and learned about the benefits of exercise, including reduced risk of heart disease. Implementation intention group received the same information as the motivation group, but also created a specific plan using this sentence. During the next week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on day, at, time, in place. The results. In the control and motivation groups, only 35 to 38% of participants exercised at least once a week. In the implementation intention group, 91% exercised at least once a week, more than double the rate of the other groups. This study revealed that having a plan, rather than just motivation, is key to forming habits. Motivation alone is insufficient. Clarity about when and where to act is essential. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, explains, We often tell ourselves, I'm going to eat healthier or I'm going to learn a new skill, but we rarely specify when and where these habits will occur. Without clarity, we leave it to chance, hoping we'll remember or feel motivated at the right moment. Once you set an implementation intention, you eliminate the need to decide whether to act in the moment. Instead, you simply follow your predetermined plan. To apply this strategy, fill in the blanks of this simple sentence. I will, behavior, at time and location. Examples. I will learn French for 25 minutes at 6 p.m. in my room. I will exercise for 20 minutes upon waking up at home. Debunking the 21-day habit myth. Many believe it takes 21 days to form a habit. This misconception stems from Psycho-Cybernetics, a book published in 1960 by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Maltz observed that it took about 21 days for his patients to adjust to significant life changes, but this was not a universal rule. Research shows that habit formation can take anywhere from 18 to 254 days, with an average of 66 days for a behavior to become automatic. Some habits form faster than others, depending on their complexity and the individual. To truly form a habit, commit to consistent practice. For example, I've encouraged you to spend just 5 minutes daily reflecting on lesson videos for at least 66 days and noting one actionable takeaway from each unit. Now that you've reached the 66th day of this course, review your notes to see how deeply these learnings have been internalized and how much they've become a part of your daily life.